Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Move with Love podcast. I am April Miranda, your host, your healer, your guide, and I am so excited that I have my good friend here, Mareike, is here to talk about the truths about the diet culture. Please welcome to the show, Mareike.
Hi, April. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and I can't wait to share my thoughts.
Oh, like the convos that we've had before this podcast episode are blowing my mind. And I just felt so guided to share your wisdom, your story, your magic, your message with whoever finds this podcast or this YouTube video. So please share with our audience all of the credentials that you have that make you this expert in this topic.
Yeah, so let's get started. I have a few industry leading credentials. I'm an A certified personal trainer. I am a certified nutrition coach and a certified hormone specialist because I wanted to make sure when I start this journey that I have the credentials so that I know the science and the evidence-based approach behind everything so that I can best serve the woman that I'm working with.
Yes. And so with all of your credentials, I want to go back to the beginning. Like, what inspired you to educate yourself on all of these topics?
So throughout my whole life, I was always passionate about nutrition and fitness. And I always wanted to understand the why behind it. Because growing up, I also struggled with a not so healthy relationship with food and over exercising, because for me, that was kind of an outlet to deal with emotions and hardships in life. But along the way, I understood that something is just not matching up, like reading about diet culture and seeing what was happening in my body and then starting to read on it. And then when the pandemic happened, I finally took a leap of faith. I got my certifications and I started working, but I have been on my own fitness journey for over 12 years. And I have been thinking about starting my own fitness and nutrition coaching business for so long. But I think as it happened to many people during the pandemic, I was just, now is the time. And that's when I started. And that's when I learned all the details and all the science that I had kind of piecemeal together over the years. And then I made the decision, you know what, I could help myself. I could help myself understand everything. So now I want to serve and now I want to be there for other women because I feel a lot of the times in my life I was struggling alone and I wish someone would have been there to walk the way with me. And now I want to be this person for other women. I want to help them understand their body, understand what to eat, and just eventually help them feel better. Because when you feel better in your body, when you know how to nourish yourself, when you exercise, you do so much good for your body and your soul. And that's what I just want to help them. I want to give them the tool to feel better in their body and their mind, and then eventually transition into feeling so much better overall.
I love that. And you said you started your journey 12 years ago. So who was she? Who was this girl who did feel alone 12 years ago?
I think I was such a different version of myself. I was very introverted because I didn't have the easiest start in life. I've gone through a lot of hardships. And instead of working through them, I have internalized everything and I have always tried to achieve in life. And I think with this fitness journey also started my healing journey. So I started going inward, healing myself. And I think fitness was always the one thing, the one constant that helped me get through everything. It helped me get my mindset right and just nourish my body and just looking after myself. And it just helped me feel better overall. But yeah, I have definitely evolved in this journey. I feel I'm such a different person right now. And throughout this journey, this calling to help other women became louder and louder. And that was, again, this pivot point during the pandemic where I said, now is the time. You have the strength in you. And there is something that that is often said in the industry. It's your mess is your message. So this is something where your thing that you've been through can be the roadmap for someone else.
Yes, exactly. So your mess is your message. I totally love that. And I'm also about that because we all have our journey, our story. So please share 3 turning points in your life that have brought you to where you are today.
I think a first turning point was moving away from home to the States. I actually was there for university, and I think just moving away so far from home and creating distance and understanding that, hey, a lot of the things that you feel are just internal and you are the one who can actually change it. And then I think the second decision was moving here to Canada, because I think this is when I really started understanding that I'm the creator of my own life. I was not that conscientiously aware of it, but that's when I started more of my healing journey. And that's when I started getting more into like my fitness and learning more about that. And then I think the other point was when I really started my healing journey, when I started actively going back and like working on everything that is not resolved. Because I had such a great business coach at one point, and I think he pushed me in the right direction, because he said the things that you maybe have sometimes on your mind is just like baggage that you carry with you, and that is taking up brain space that you can use for something different. Because I realized the more I healed myself, the better I can show up for my business, the better I can show up for my clients. And it is always easier to share from a point of being healed to help others instead of from when you're still bleeding, in a way, when you're still like in it. So I feel these were three big points that helped me become the person who I am today, so that I can serve and show up for the women that I would like to help.
Yes, it's like I feel we're all walking each other
Yeah.
home, right?
Exactly.
So we've been talking about before this podcast recording of all the lies, all the myths, all the stuff that
Yeah.
we're bombarded by, whether it's on social media, like please talk to me about all these myths that could be throwing women or everyone off when they're starting their healing journey.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that I personally see is this thing called diet culture. I'm pretty sure we all grew up with it, where you read that you have to always like move more and you have to eat less. You cannot eat burger, so you cannot eat pizza. So there's the stigma around almost like fitness, nutrition, and working out is a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is about restriction and being strict and being hard, and everything is tough. But this, in a way, is just a lie. And there's so much to unpack. So I want to do this layer by layer. I think the first thing I want to say is that, of course, if you do not move at all, and if you eat a lot, it makes sense to move more and eat less, right?
Yes.
But I know that so many women that come to me or that work with me or that I talk to, they are already eating very little and they are already exercising a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, where do you go from there? Like, you have to sacrifice sleep and just exercise 24/7 at one point, right? And I think this just creates this frustration where women are in this spot of seeing themselves eating so little and working out so much. And of course, they're not feeling good.
Yeah.
So not only are they not feeling good, but they're not seeing the results that they want, right?
Yeah.
Which in turn creates this not so good relationship with food and this thinking of, hey, exercise needs to be hard. So who is going to enjoy the fitness journey, right? It's going to be so tough to enjoy it because you're just so hard on yourself. You work out so much, you eat so little, but you don't see the results.
Yeah. No, I can
Yeah.
definitely relate, because I am too also consuming the information online.
Yeah.
And whether it's like keto or intermittent fasting or fruit, no fruit, like, and like I haven't been eating meat for more than 11 years, but that's what works for me.
Yeah.
But now I'm learning from you, like, oh, I need more protein. I'm like, okay, where can I get my protein if I don't resonate with? So there's always lots of information that we're all navigating through and with. Okay, so I guess when even talking to you, you're like, oh, it doesn't have to be that hard. You're like, it could really just be more fiber and protein.
Yeah.
So even talking to you, you've been simplifying it for me. That's why I'm like, let's educate our listeners just to make it easy, more enjoyable through this fitness journey that's more sustainable.
Yeah, I think the most important thing if anyone starts their fitness journey is that they have to understand it needs to be sustainable.
Mhm.
Because the one thing that I often see with diet culture or these 30-day challenges that are being promoted is that you're doing this for a certain period of time, it's going to be hard, and then it's over.
Mhm.
But fitness and nutrition should be part of your life. You should enjoy it because at the end of the day, it's going to make you feel so much better. It's increasing your happiness and it's going to make you feel at home in your body.
Mhm.
So it may take a bit of time to learn the ins and outs of nutrition and workouts, but you can incorporate that in a way into your life that you enjoy it. Because my clients, for example, go to the gym 3 to max 4 times a week.
Mhm.
They learn what to eat, but they eat out, they drink their wine, they enjoy their lives, but they also get the body of their dreams, right?
Yeah.
This is all, and this is the thing that I would like your listeners to understand. It is doable, it's achievable. All you need is an understanding about nutrition and workouts, and it doesn't have to be about restriction or hours at the gym.
Mhm.
It is understanding that nutrition isn't that hard as it's also portrayed in the media or when you scroll on Instagram or TikTok,
Mhm.
and same for workouts. To make it like really easy and as an actionable takeaway, for example, for nutrition, the most important thing is eat the majority of your foods from whole nutrient dense sources and enjoy your treats in moderation. And there's nothing wrong with eating a pizza. There's nothing wrong with eating a burger. And I think I want to open another like bracket here because there is no good or bad food. Think of it as more calorie dense food and less calorie dense food,
Mhm.
or like more nutritious
Nutrition.
food and less nutritious food.
Mhm.
Because if you look at a meal of vegetables, maybe you have some brown rice and chicken versus a pizza.
Yeah.
So will the pizza have more calories and less nutrients compared to the other meal? Of course. But if you eat the pizza once a week and you enjoy it, is it going to be good? Of course. So it is understanding that there is no good or bad food, it's just food.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing with diet culture. Diet culture tells you, oh, you're bad if you eat a pizza. And then if someone eats a pizza, they sit there and like, oh my God, I shouldn't do
There's
this.
the guilt, there's the shame.
Yeah. And this is not needed, right?
Mhm.
So you can reach your goals. You just need to be mindful of like portion sizes. Because if you eat a pizza every evening, A, are you going to feel good? Likely not. And B, are you going to reach your goals? Also likely not.
Mhm.
So it is just understanding that you can eat those foods in moderation.
Mhm.
And if you eat the majority of your foods from whole nutrient dense sources, you also will feel so much better. You have more energy throughout the day. You can think clearly. You can get through the afternoon. You won't have afternoon crashes. And these are just things to be mindful of. And as I told you, eat your protein, right? It's so important to eat protein for like your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, because protein is not only something that helps you like get your muscle, because this is the first thing people think about,
Yeah.
but protein is actually present in every cell of your body.
Mhm.
So in order for your cells to like repair, maintain, you need your protein, right?
Mm.
So it is often when you look at diet culture, food is this good or bad thing. It's just this thing that where there's like emotion attached to it. But if you look at it, it's fuel for your body. It is helping you feel your best self. It is helping you function optimally. So there's no emotional charge to it. You just have to be mindful of what you're putting in your body because you want to feel good, right?
Yeah.
Just think about you going home after work every week. One day you eat a burger, one day you have some greasy Chinese takeout, and then maybe you have some stuff that you just throw in the microwave and there's barely any vegetable. How will you feel? You're going to feel so different compared to when you go home and maybe you have like a wholesome meal. Maybe one day you have salmon, pasta with a salad, and then maybe you have some like chicken with quinoa and veggies another night, and then maybe another night you have your pizza.
Yeah.
You will feel so different, right?
Yeah. And I like how you were saying it could be neutral.
Yeah.
It could be simple, it could be neutral. It's just fuel for your body. Like every cell needs protein. Every cell needs this nourishment. And you said it doesn't have to be emotionally charged. And I was just like, oh yeah. You know, like while I'm sitting here, because I know that I can be an emotional eater. And then we were talking about like as women, we go through our cycles and our moon cycle and the roller coaster of hormones, and you are this hormone expert. And so please enlighten me, enlighten the other women of like, how can we educate ourselves on our hormones that will affect the way we eat or emotionally, mentally? Like, please share a little taste of what it would look like to learn and be educated by your wisdom.
Yeah, I think what is really important to understand when you look at your fitness journey, and also just like tying all of this back to diet culture, is that if you don't nourish your body properly, and if you work out every day, you do your cardio every day, and you eat like a bird, you're not going to feel good. I think we talked about this, but you're also not doing your body a favor, because you are sacrificing your hormone and metabolic health. And I'm trying to explain this in a very simple way so that the listeners and your audience will understand. Because even though we live now, I think it's the 24th century, our bodies are still like old typewriters. They are hardwired for survival and reproduction. They don't know that, for example, there is a fridge in your kitchen, you can just order on Uber Eats. They still think like in old times.
Ready to go hunting or gathering.
And if you chronically undereat and overexercise, your body perceives this as a stress, right? What does that mean in turn? Because we are hardwired to survive and reproduce, our bodies are smart and they think, oh, we are in a time of stress. So they will basically tune down your like reproductive like function, meaning it will have a negative impact on your hormones. Likely you will lose your cycle. And the other thing is that your metabolism is almost like a thermostat. You can see it as a thermostat. It adapts to what it's basically exposed to. So if you chronically undereat, which means, and I can later explain how this looks like, how you can determine if you eat too little. If you
don't have that problem.
If your body perceives a threat of not getting enough calories, it starts being a miser of calories. It starts to be very like smart with the calories. So if you feel at one point that you have been eating so little and you can't lose weight, it's just like there's something it's called metabolic adaptation. So your maintenance calories will go lower, right? Because your body is just adapting and trying. Think of a car. If you have
a thermostat.
Yeah, like of a car or a thermostat. If you have like a fuel efficient car, this is in a way great, but your body doesn't want to be fuel efficient, right? Because you want to make sure that you can burn good calories, right? Like that it's basically up to speed and your metabolism is in a good spot.
Yes.
But if you keep under eating and your body perceives this threat, the metabolism almost adapts. Does it make sense? Because I feel I'm so close to this and so passionate. I just want to make sure that I'm explaining it in a way that it makes sense.
You're saying that the stomach adapts to what it's exposed to.
It's not necessarily the stomach. It is more the overall calories. And maybe this is going to be a little bit of a deep dive more into the sciencey part, but I think maybe that also helps. So let's look at something that's called the total daily energy expenditure.
Okay.
The total daily energy expenditure are all the calories we are burning throughout the day. It is comprised of 4 attributes, right? And to make this simple, let's just look at one. It's called BMR, basal metabolic rate. This makes up about 70% of the total calories that you're burning in a day. And you would be burning this if you're sitting on the sofa all day, because this is just what your body needs to maintain all the functions, for your heart to beat, for your liver to function, just for life, right? And for someone, I would say like your basal metabolic rate would mean that you have to eat at least 1,300 calories, right? But if you are now under eating and always trying to diet, and maybe you're just eating 1,200 calories or the 1,300 calories, you are just giving your body enough energy to barely survive, right? And then on top of that, you are a mom, you're running around, you have to cook, you do your exercise, you do your steps, you go to the grocery store, you have all these things, so the calories add up.
Yeah.
So this is where under eating becomes detrimental, because you are not giving your body enough fuel. And then knowing where your BMR is at, understanding that you're not giving your body enough fuel, it tries to be as efficient with the fuel as possible.
I see. Okay, so I understand the metabolic part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but can you talk a bit more about hormones? And like, because I know, or just remembering from biology in high school and university, that our hormones change in our cycle.
Yeah.
So how do we, I guess, eat? Do we eat differently in the different parts of our cycles? Or is there a way to just balance our hormones on the daily, regularly, so I guess we're regulated?
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah.
the best thing you can do for your hormones is, like, the first thing is always get the basics right. Get the basics right is a minimum of like 7 hours of sleep. Drink your water. Eat whole nutrient dense foods, like eat your proteins. Be mindful of like stress management. Make sure that you don't have like chronically elevated cortisol levels, because that can also like interfere with your hormones. These are the small things that you can just do for your hormones, right? And this is
what we need
Yeah.
to learn. How to regulate,
yeah
whether it's our nervous system, how to sleep better, eat, but like going back to these ABCs.
yeah
You know, and I think with your plethora of knowledge and expertise, that it could be like, okay, I can do that. But I think when you say like go back to the basics
yeah
and master the basics, because yeah, if we're all running on high cortisol because we're so activated, then of course our hormones are going to be out of whack,
yeah
right? Or even when you talk about sleep, like I have a 1 month old, and he's 1 year old. See, still sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And so now even just having this convo, I'm like, maybe that could be definitely why I'm not nourishing myself, because my basics are not fulfilled.
yeah
Right? So is this kind of where you start with your clients?
Exactly. So the thing we always do when I start working with a client is we first do the basics, because it is like there's this I think it's a metaphor or analogy. If someone tries to mow the lawn while the house is on fire, and this is what I want to avoid. So when I start working with my clients, the first things we always do is make sure we understand where are they nutrition wise. Are they eating enough? Are they eating the right foods? Where is sleep at? How is your sleep hygiene? How is stress? How's water? How are your steps? Because we cannot say, oh, let's heal your hormones, but you're not sleeping, you're not eating right. Because so many things can be fixed with just like eating right, exercising. These are the basics, right? Like stress management. We talk about digestion. We want to make sure that all this is in a good spot. We talk about how long is your cycle? Like, how is your cycle? Is it, do you have heavy cramping? Because if you have a lot of heavy cramping, PMS symptoms, you feel like you can only survive with like Advil, not normal. So we need to figure out where are we at. So it's almost like you need to be Sherlock Holmes. We get the basics and then we see, is there a hormonal imbalance and why can it be? There can be so many reasons, but it's just you need to do one step after the other and then investigate.
I remember when we first met, I'm like, oh, you could be my root chakra expertise, my specialist, right? Because I'm like, because I love working with the chakra system. And it's like I talk about the root chakras, like, yeah, the basics.
Yeah.
Eating right, sleeping, hydration, moving your body. And like this is all the stuff that you're talking about, and so like that could be why your energy is blocked. That could be why that you feel stuck or uninspired or unmotivated, right? Like I'm going to the different chakras, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I wanted you here, because I'm like, yes, we got to start with the root. This is our body, this is our home of our soul while we are here earth side, right? So how can we speak our truth if we're not feeling safe in our body? How can we take action on our goals, open up our heart, open up to relationships, right? So yes, to all of the stuff that you're saying. And I want to, I guess, send my clients your way who maybe off with the root chakra, with these basics that they may not even know.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's so important that we talk about this diet culture, because if you chronically overexercise and undereat, you're not like, your hormones are not going to be in a good spot, right? They are going to be low because your body is just so stressed. And I think I know the women that come to me and work with me, they try to blame themselves. They say, oh, I'm not pushing hard enough. I'm eating not good enough. It's like, I want them to understand it's not their fault. Like they're just doing what they have been taught, like growing up. And I think diet culture has been so present in like our like lives as millennials that it is not their fault. Like, how are they supposed to know, right? They were just doing what they were taught. But there's a different way, right? There's a way that is sustainable, that feels better, that makes you happy both on the inside and the outside. Because if you are not healthy from the inside, if your hormones are not balanced, if your metabolism is not in a good spot, to like say it very like in an easy way, how are you supposed to lose weight? How are you supposed to get in the shape you want? How are you supposed to feel good? Because there's always this thing, the outer appearance will follow once you're healed internally. There's no way of you having the best physique of your life and feeling the best if your hormones are not healed, if your metabolism is just chronically like trying to just get by. And I think this is so important to understand.
Yes, and I resonate with all of that you're saying, because it is step one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is the instrument that we must take care of. Like, if your health is, I heard your health is your wealth. Like,
Exactly.
so, what's the point of going, like, striving to build these big businesses if you're not even healthy? Or like going for the man of your dreams, but when you're not even healthy, like, you have to start here.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for sharing your wisdom, your time, your energy with me today and always. You said you have a special gift for those who are listening. Please share.
I am so excited about that, because I would love to offer your listeners to do like a metabolism audit for them. I have created a form that they can fill out, which is helping me understand how are their eating habits, and based on that I can already see a lot in terms of where is their hormone health likely at, where is their metabolism at. And then if they like, they can book a free call so that I can help them understand how they can optimize easily. Because oftentimes I can already see just, okay, here, if you do this differently, they can see a big difference. So it's not going to take a lot of time. I think this form may take 3 minutes to fill out, but it gives me a lot of important information in terms of where someone is at. And then I can give them advice from there. We can jump on a call. I can give them some guidance what to do moving forward, so that they can feel better in their body and get some basics about nutrition.
Wow. Well, I will add the link.
Yes.
Whether it's on the Spotify link or the YouTube link. But yeah, click the link, fill out the type form, fill out the questionnaire, and then you'll get a free call with this expert, this health expert, this nutrition coach that will help you balance your hormones and your metabolism and to feel at home in your body. Yeah. Where can our listeners find you?
So I am most active on my Instagram at MK Fitness and Nutrition Coaching. My DMs are always open for any questions. And then I also have a TikTok. It's also MK Fitness and Nutrition Coaching. I have more like long form explanatory content. I also have a Facebook group if someone is interested. This is more like exclusive content, like for like a smaller audience. So happy to drop this in the show notes as well. And then like reach out, any questions. Maybe someone has a question based on the podcast, they don't understand what I was saying. So just shoot me a DM. I'm always hanging out on Instagram.
Oh,
so that's
and
where you can find me.
So accessible and approachable, and always a joy to connect with. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I guess until next time, let's share the message, live the lifestyle. Let's move with love together.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.